These are measurements that I'm using in this draft. If you want to learn how to use Inkscape and interested and you want to practice, then you follow me and use the measurements that I've shown until such time that you could use your own. Please note these measurements just serve as a guideline to help you practice to draft a bodice block in Inkscape. It is equivalent to a size 36. Hi, I am Rumola and welcome. In this video, I just guide you on how to start drawing basic pattern in Inkscape. If you find this helpful, then let me know in the comment if you have any question, and also if you would like to see more content like this in the future. Thank you. You gotta set up your page first. Once you open Inkscape, then you go to these two document properties. You'll also get document properties, and you click on File. You click on Document Properties. You set up your page, your units. I'm setting my unit up. I've got it set to centimeters. My page is set to A0 size, and I got it as portrait. So you can go through this and see whichever you. Okay, let's begin drafting. Be patient when you learn something. It takes time and patience. I'm also learning. It has taken me a year to get to know what I know now. Inkscape is a vector graphics software and not pattern making software, but it can be achieved. Everything that I teach here is self-taught. You don't see many pattern making videos in Inkscape, so what is shown here is valuable. If you like my content, then consider liking, sharing, subscribing or following, as it will help me boost so I can post more content like this in the future. Thank you. To start drafting, let me explain first. This is your canvas and this is your page. This white section is your page. If you start drawing anywhere beyond the white section, it will never get printed if you have to have your pattern printed. So remember that. Now this is your ruler on the top here, and then you've got a ruler on the side. And you will notice here I've got my units set at centimeters. If you right click on the right here, you'll see this units is set at centimeters, and on the left hand side here of the ruler you'll see centimeters. On the left hand side here is your toolbar. This is the tools that you'll be using to draft your pattern. It is vital that you know the functions and the keys and etc. on the screen. Otherwise you'll be so confused you wouldn't know what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to start here at the ruler. At the point here it is 0. I'm going to pick my pen tool. This is your pen here on the left hand side, and then I'm going to start at the 0 point. I'm going to go straight down. Okay, and then now this is your node tool. I'm going to pick up a node. I'm going to click onto this node, and then you see the x-axis here and you see a y-axis. So the x-axis is on 0. This is the point here. Then the below on the y, I'm going to set it as 40.5, which is going to be my center back. My length, if you check on the measurement, 40.5 is the back length. Another thing to also note is that if you notice here the nodes, when you click onto a node, it turns blue. So it shows that that node is active. So if you move that node, only that node will move and the other won't move, as you can see. So remember that. So if you click onto both, and if you shift click onto this, so both are blue, and if you move it, both will move simultaneously. So some pointers that you should know. Okay, now I'm going to draw a very quick outline of the bodice pattern or the bodice draft. onto your pen tool, and if you go on the top here, you'll see all the options for the pen tool. You got the mode, and you got this first, the second, or the third one. So I'll click onto this one here. It says create a sequence of strings or lines, and then I'm going to use that, and I'm going to show you what you can do with that. So now I click onto the top here with the 0 markings, and I'm going to hold my control key, and I'm going to draw a straight line that is going to be my neck width, and then I'm going to draw another line going down slightly because that will be the shoulder length, and then I'm going to go down, which is going to be my armhole, and it's going to be the armhole depth, and then I'm going to go out the line on the outside here, which is going to be a bust, and then I'm going to draw a straight line, which is going to be a side seam, and I'm going to connect it here in the end with the waistline. Okay, and now it's going to be the fun part. So but make sure you go on the pen tool and you change your mode back to that first mode, and now you select your piece, you click onto the nodes tool, and all your nodes will be visible. I'll go onto my first node here. It's at the top there. I'm going to go into the Y, and I'm going to drop it down by 5. So it's going to go 5 centimeters down. That's my depth of my neck. That's the back neck. I'm going to go to this next node, and that's going to be my neck width is going to be 7.67. So you can put 7.67 and enter. And then you're going to go onto your next node. You click off that on the screen, then you go onto your next node, click onto that node, and you're going to type here the X 7.67 plus your 12 centimeters. That will give you your shoulder width. And then you go onto the Y-axis and make sure you type in 4. It's going to be a shoulder drop 4 centimeters. As you can see, it's adjusting everything accordingly. And then you go to the bottom one, you go to the Y, and your measurement there for your armhole depth is 20.5, and you type in 20. Then you press enter, and then you're going to go to this node here, the next one, which is the bust. The bust is going to be 25.5, and it's still going on to the horizontal. That's horizontal. The X is horizontal lines, the Y is vertical lines. 25.5 horizontal, and you're going to go down to the bottom, which is you're going to get down to the side seam, and you're going to go to the bottom, which is going to be your waist. So if you notice here on the Y, on the vertical end here, it's 40.5, which is your length of your blouse, which is correct. Remember, I told you the length. So I'm going to type in here with this my waist measurement, and that's going to be on my horizontal. So I'm going to type there that 71 divided by 4 plus 3 centimeters. That will give you your waist measurement. According to the finish here, the waist measurement is 20.75. So that's what I'm going to type there, 20.75. I've already worked all the measurements out, and then I gave it to you. And now the bottom, I'm going to select both the nodes. I'm going to select it, and that's actually called segments. So I'm going to draw dart points If you go to the left on the top there, you will notice it says insert new nodes. I'm going to press that twice and it's going to give me 3 points. That will be my dart, length of my dart. Then you're going to go on either side, which is going to be your measurement for your dart. So now I'm going to click on the outside to clear the highlight, and then I'm going to come back to the nodes. The middle node here, I'm going to click on it, it highlights. I'm going to drag it to the center. Then on the Y, I'm going to leave all the numbers as it is. You don't change anything. And I'm going to type in minus. I'm going to put in minus 1.75. 1.75 is your measurement for your dart leg, your first dart leg, and you press enter. You see it moves it. As you can see, it's moved. And then I'm going to click onto this other dart here, and I'm going to go onto the moving it to the center as well as I did for the other one. You're going to go to the X and you're going to leave everything as is, and in the end of the figures you're going to press in plus, and watch carefully what I'm doing there. And I'm going to type in 1.75. And that's going to be my next dart leg that completes my dart legs. And if you look at it closely, you can see there's 3 points here. To make sure this is not highlighted, and then I'm going to just click away from there, and then we will highlight the center. Now highlight the center one, that's actually your dart length measurement is going to be. Go to the Y coordinate, that is for your vertical line, and where that 40.5 is, I'm going to type in at the end there minus. Why minus? Minus is going up. Your measurement is going to go up, so watch what happens there. And I'm going to type in 14 because that's the length of my dart. I type 14 and I press enter. You see, my dart has been automatically formed. Okay, and that completes your darts. The other added point is if you highlight both the darts in the both ends here, and where the Y is, because you're going to go down, so you're going to type in plus, and I'm going to type in 1 centimeter, and it will drop it down, as you can see. So that's truing your darts. If you know about pattern making, you will know what it is to true your darts, because your darts, where you make your darts, your length actually changes a bit. Now I'm going to go into this first node here, and I'm going to go in the middle, and I'm going to click onto that line, and I'm going to pull it down, so that's going to form your neck. You can see your curve for your neckline. And there's a tool here. If you don't get your, then I'm going to click onto this first node, and you'll notice that there's a little lever that came up here. So you're going to use that. That's the handle, and you're going to use that handle to move, to shape your curve. If you don't get that handle popping up, then check on the top of the screen here. This here where it shows show Bezier handle of selected node. Make sure that's highlighted. If it's not highlighted, so you click onto that thing and then you'll get it, otherwise you won't get your handle showing. And now I'm going to use this handle, and I'm going to drag the handle, and when I drag the handle, you'll notice that there's a blue line forming on the shoulder and the neckline. So that is going to give you accuracy of your curvature. So you see, if it's curving anywhere else, then you don't pull your handle so far. You make sure your handle only goes up to that point where it shows that little square coming up here with the blue line there. It only comes up, and then when you let go of that, it goes off. So that's your curve. that's actually smart guidelines. You will learn about that later. If you go onto this section here and you have your enabled snapping, that's where you will get your smart guides, otherwise it won't show. And make sure most of your nodes are ticked to get that appearing on that screen there. Otherwise you won't see where that marks are coming, so you'll wonder where I got it from. And you do the same thing here. You go in between the shoulder and your armhole depth. You click onto that line and you drag it in, and you're going to get your armhole shape. So you don't need this point here, this node here, so you can just highlight it and delete. Right? And you delete it. And then when you click here, you'll find that the handles are coming in from your underarm. When I move it here, and make sure that line is appearing from your shoulder point. It's got to be here in the L shape to get the correct measurement of your curvature. And now this is going, you got to get this handle and you make sure you straighten it out and put it around this point here. When you use this here and you move, you'll notice that the line is showing straight to this here as the L shape. So that's the natural curve of your armhole. Okay, there's that line there. So that, now if you look at it properly, and here's your draft or your basic bodice back. So if you click on to the left screen again, and you see this little area which is the text tool, you click on your text tool and you can write in there basic bodice. Then you can put it as back. Now size is 36. So that was easy and quick and as simple as it. It looked a bit complicated in the beginning, but it's not so complicated. Then you're going to still learn more about this. There's a lot to learn and I cannot show you everything in one go, so a little step at a time. In the next video probably I will show you how to change the same bodice dart. You can just by adjusting a few nodes here, and you can create your front bodice block from there. Now this will be your master bodice pattern. You can do plenty with this. You can use the same pattern to create other designs from. It's the basis or the foundation in which you would use to style your garments. You can also create the skirt pattern and add it to this and make your dress patterns out of it. You can create your sleeves. You can add notches to your garment, as I got notches here. I showed you how I do that. And you can also add seam allowance, which is a breeze. It's simple to add seam allowance, and just by click of button, seam allowance. See, that's how you add your seam allowance. You can also measure sections of your pattern piece. If you want to know if your pattern is correct, you can give it measurements. You can do that. There's plenty other things you can do, and I can show you in future videos if you're interested. If I get much feedback, then I will continue posting plenty more videos so you can learn how to use this program. It will take some time, so just be patient. And thank you for watching.